Welcome to the Spiritual Uplevel Podcast. I'm your host, Jeri Cristine. I am deeply honored to have you on this journey with me. This podcast began as really a compilation of my own spiritual journey. This is a deeply sensitive, deeply personal journey because it's my own life's journey, one that began with traumas, heartbreak, and that transformed into healing, seeking, and a journey that changed my life into one that I love, I'm grateful for, I find joy and playfulness in every single day. And I found my purpose in helping other people discover their journey, their path to joy, peace, and enlightenment. Along the way, I will introduce you to other amazing souls from around the world whose mission is to help people heal. We will explore modalities such as meditation, breath work, energy work, shamanism, and spirituality. Common themes that you'll find throughout this podcast are that we are spiritual beings having a physical existence, that everything you need is within you, whether you believe it right now or not. And all of the healers and teachers that I interview for this podcast are people who point you back to you. Because the truth is, we are all connected. We all come from the Creator, and we all have everything that we need. We also have all faced traumas and experiences in our life that have blocked the energy flow from Creator, that keep us back from creating magical lives that we want to live. We help you to uncover those blocks and to release your true, authentic, highest self and highest purpose in this life. Another common theme is that we are all just like you. We face traumas ourselves. We've been through it. We found our healing journey and our path back to wholeness. And we all want to share that with you to let you know that you too can do what we do. Throughout this podcast, I'm emotional because it has to do edit. This podcast is a journey of healing. It's, as I said, my own life's compilation of how I have found healing. I am a seeker. I am a deep, deep seeker. I want to understand all of the things. And one thing that I have learned throughout my years of seeking, taking classes, and learning to heal, the one thing that I have found to be true is that we are all spiritual beings. Whether you like it or not, whether you believe in it or not, we are all energy. We are made from sound, vibration, energy, and light. And that's why I call this podcast spiritual, because that's the foundation of all of it. And the up level comes from every step that you understand this and embrace it. It's like you go from, being a baby to being a child. Every single lesson, every single thing that you experience is one step up. I had a mentor 25 years ago who likened our path to steps. Every challenge, every time we learn something, we go up a step. We might stay on that step going back and forth for a long time, but we never go down. then we have another experience that brings us up another step. So every time we grow is a spiritual up level. And I want to bring you along that path with me. Thank you for being curious. Thank you for being willing to explore. I also bring you along this path with people who are like you. You don't have to be a crystal loving hippie or a monk sitting in a monastery to experience enlightenment and to experience what it's like to be connected truly to Creator. You can be. All of those things are just fine. But for most of us, our path involves being in a 3D world, in a physical world where we have jobs, we have kids, we have relationships, we have challenges. And so I'm bringing you people who are just like you. Many of them have master's degrees, doctorates. They've studied their craft for years and years, and they are regular people. They have challenges, they have children, they have all of the things that each one of us faces in life. And yet, along their path, they have discovered a connection. They have tapped into the energy that we are all created from. And they're just a couple of steps ahead of you. If you're nervous about exploring things like energy work or having readings done, whatever it is, I invite you to just be open and to trust whatever brought you here and to listen. You'll hear regular stories from regular people, and you'll hear a lot about my story. My story began, in a normal childhood. I had great parents. I also had a babysitter who sexually abused me on a regular basis for about a year and a half between the ages of 4 and 5. That's where my trauma began. Because of that experience, I acted out in ways that were appropriate for somebody who had experienced trauma. As a teenager, I had an abortion. In that moment, I decided that I was going to hell. I apologized to God and I turned my back on God. And I lived my life as if I was going to hell. I might as well live it up because what was the point anyway? That led me to years of drug and alcohol abuse, workaholism. If I wasn't working or partying, I was training to run half marathons, always escaping myself and escaping the world, running away from all of my problems instead of facing them. I finally began to face them when life felt like it was at its bottom. I found out that I would never be able to have children because I had tapped all of my energy resources. My adrenals no longer worked. My ovaries no longer worked. At that point, I knew I had to change my life or I was probably going to die early because my body was literally shutting down. I began seeking healing through counseling, religion, changing my life. And all of those things were helpful and amazing and wonderful, and I'm grateful for them. But when we adopted our second daughter, I went into a deep depression, one that included things like suicidal ideation. I found I found that I was overwhelmed with a deep sense of an irrational fear of death. That fear led to more seeking. When I was able to quiet myself, I found that still small voice that said, there is more. Being raised Christian, I was afraid to explore the more because I was always told that it was wrong and that we weren't supposed to do it. However, that voice continued. And at least once a week, I heard there is more. So I began reading books. I started with a book called Dying to Be Me by Anita Morjani. That led to another book called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. That opened me up to other experiences. I began safely exploring with safe people who held space for me. I was very careful about the people that I chose to help with my healing journey and the people that I chose to explore different healing modalities with, in just the same way that I'm very careful about the people that I interview for this podcast, because that's important. You want to know that you're working with somebody who is ethical and safe and can hold space for you to be truly yourself. My seeking led me to things such as using food as medicine, plant medicine, including ayahuasca, psilocybin, and 5-MeO-DMT. My journey led to sound baths. It led to energy healings and all the wonderful things that I want to share with you. I found my home in these spaces and I found my true self. I experienced complete connection with the Creator, and I'm constantly on a mission to get back to that space on a daily basis. Now, this isn't running away from your life. This isn't running away from your problems. This isn't trying to change the world, because none of that works. This is learning to change yourself, learning to be comfortable with yourself, learning to be able to sit still in only the presence of yourself and the Creator. This is a deeply emotional journey. We call it work because it feels like work when it's uncomfortable. However, on the other side is bliss, true bliss, happiness, peace, all the things I used to pray for that imbue my life every single day, in nearly every single minute. This isn't a get better quick scheme. It doesn't make all your problems go away. But what it does do is make it easier to deal with things as they come up. It allows you to move through issues and problems faster. It allows you to transform negative energy into positive energy faster. And I believe that that allows your inner light to shine forth to the world. There are times when your inner light will upset other people because they're not used to it, or maybe they're not safe for you and they liked it when you weren't happy and comfortable. That happens. But also, our inner light attracts the people that are meant to be in our lives. It attracts other people who recognize the light and want the light to shine forth in their lives. And that's why I'm doing this podcast, because I want my light to spark your light. And I want your light to spark someone else's life. And the more light that is lit in this world, the better the world will become. It's not about changing the outside world, again, because we can't change the outside world. We change us. And as we change, the outer world changes, because the outer world is just a reflection of our inner world. So I invite you on this journey to explore, to be open, and to begin to let your light shine so that you can create a world that you want to be part of, that is full of light, love, happiness, peace, joy, all the things that you desire in your life. So come along this journey with me, the spiritual up level. I promise you won't regret it. I promise you will meet some really interesting people who do really cool things in this world. And they're people just like you who have a deep desire to create a life that they are comfortable with, that you are comfortable with, that we all want to be part of. It's possible. In a world full of fear and negative things, where the news wants to spread negativity and fear and cause anxiety inside our lives, let's choose the other path. I invite you to just choose the other path and allow this podcast to be one of those ways that encourages you on a daily basis, that brings you back to you. Thank you for being here. I look forward to you joining us along this journey. Thank you so much.